Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of 4K Garage. In this episode I'm going to talk about the prep that needs to be done to the car so it's ready for the wrap it's going to get. But let's not beat around the bush, let's face it, everyone wants to know what colour is it going to be. Now I've told a few people here and there, it's something that I've kind of been set on for a little while now, a few months at least, and that is a wrap called Black Red Iridescent by KPMF. I'll put a picture of it up on the screen now, so you can see what that's like. And I think you'll agree it's going to suit the car really well. I did originally think about colour matching the Rocket Bunny panels to the red, but personally I just feel that this red doesn't show off the curves of the kit very well, and it just kind of all blends into one big red block. So I wanted to go for a colour change, I wanted to keep red, don't have the funds for paint job. If I did do paint, I'd want the whole car stripped down to a bare shell. May as well go the full hog if you're going to do paint, in my opinion. So for now, a wrap. I'm really pleased. I found this colour, it's really good. You know, it has quite a depth to it, which is uncommon in wraps, and it's just got a nice glossy texture. It's looking good. But that is hopefully set to take place on the 3rd week of June. So we've got about 3.5 weeks now. So I've been in talks with the wrap company, get their expectations on what they're going to receive to wrap, and you know what I need to do for that. Of course, they've said they're happy to help prep as well, but I'm going to try and do as much of it as I can just to save time, money, so on. So you see, I've already started going around all these bolt holes. So essentially what needs to happen is I need to have all of these lovely panels, apply any filler that needs to be done to them. I need to sand them down to a 600 grit finish. Probably apply some high build primer as well, giving it a nice glassy feel to it, so there's no imperfections, because I've been told that any imperfections are just going to sharpen the wrap. So much like paint, the finished product's only as good as the preparation you put into it. So I've got a lot of work ahead of me, a lot of hours of sanding, a lot of hours of spraying. It's going to be a bit tedious, to be honest. I'm not sure whether I will film it all for you guys to see. It's probably just going to be a bit boring at the end of the day, or might just do some really big time-lapse montages, like a 30-minute video or something ridiculous. I'm not quite sure yet. But let me tell you what they told me in regards to the kit as well. Get a closer look at that. So as you saw in the last episode, I'd already begun this process, but being in talks with the wrap company, one of my biggest areas of concern was how are they going to go about wrapping under the kit and around the bolt holes. And basically they've told me that they will wrap 1 inch under the kit, which I'm happy with, and that I can go ahead and seal the well nuts in place, which was part of my plan, just to stop them from spinning or actually more likely pushing through into the arch if you put too much pressure on them. So that's what I started off here. Basically I've been going around sanding them down, applying some knifing putty, primer, and sanding them down again. And this is actually an 800 grit finish, but you can see that is perfectly smooth. And then what I'm going to be doing is leaving them at this kind of finish, sealing in the well nuts. You can see the Marco line there very faintly. That's the outside of the kit, and then presenting it to them like that. I need to do a few other bits. I need to do that. I need to probably round some of these harsh bumper edges. I need to do all of that down these other holes. I need to do all of the front holes, and then I'm done. So it's a lot of work. I mean, truthfully, I probably don't even need to do some of this because this is going to be under the kit, but I just feel like I want to. You know, I know that, let's face it, an imperfection in a wrap is probably going to lead to an air bubble, it's probably going to lead to the wrap lifting. I'd rather avoid any chance of that, so I want to give it a nice, clean, smooth finish where it's going to be ending. So let's just crack into it, really. I need to start going crazy with sandpaper on the front, crack out the primer. It's going to be a long one, but let's get to it. Another thing I've been up to is just sorting out a few general paint issues on the car. There was some flaking clear coat here, so sand that back, primer, sand again. And then I've also, anyone that's seen this car previously will know that it had this horrible aftermarket shark fin aerial, and it was terrible. It must have been painted from like back here with a spray can in the wind or something, because the paint that was on it was definitely, well, not on it. It would literally flake off just from driving the car around. But I don't use radio. I use my phone, Bluetooth, whatever, or I just have the windows down. So I don't really care for an aerial. I have taken it out, and had this little plug 3D printed, which I've just sealed in there and then fillered to give a nice smooth transition. I mean, I'm pretty pleased with how it's turned out. I think the car looks pretty good about an aerial protruding from the roof as well, so that's another bonus. And what we also might get onto is I've also begun making some more card templates to give some additional arch liners. Like I said, we got onto that if I have time. It's definitely not a priority right now. So let's get stuck in. Right, so here we are. After a full 3 hours of spraying, puttying, sanding, finally here, every single bolt hole that's drilled into the original sheet metal of the car has now had the area around it smoothed and sealed. Which, like I say, I don't think would have been necessary. The wrap's going to cover it, the body kit's going to cover it, blah 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 blah. But I wanted to do it. Didn't take all that long, in all honesty. Now what I think I'm going to move on to tomorrow is doing a few bits of body filler. There's some that's needed on the rear arches, a little bit on the front arches, and some where a crack has occurred on both side skirts. So move on to that. Then I'm going to start smashing on these Rocket Bunny panels with sandpaper. Also need to do the same to the wing, and I really need to do some work on the diffuser. But that's probably not the end of the world, because probably not going to get it wrapped. I'm probably going to get it sprayed gloss black, because I like how that looks at the moment. But I just need to do a whole lot more work on that light down there. So there we go. Close out here. Come back tomorrow. See you then. Here we are again for another day. So we've got a few little bits on the agenda for today. So we've got all of the wheel nut holes around the car prepped for the wrap. Now what I want to do is actually seal the wheel nuts into the holes, just to keep them there, make sure they don't fall through the holes. If you put too much pressure on them or something like that, you wouldn't want to lose one and have to fish it out or buy another one or whatever. But before I do that, I just want to give thanks to everyone that's been watching. Thank you all, because we hit 100 subscribers over the weekend, and that's just amazing. I mean, here's hoping for some more. Thanks again. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned.
Looking past my reflection, thinking about what you mentioned. You were supposed to be the one to take every last pain away. Nothing on our loving, maybe time told us that we were different. Did it break you down? Staring at the ceiling, fighting off a feeling. One more minute, 'cause I just don't wanna come down. Don't wanna go back to how I used to be. To how I used to be. to be.
And here we are. So all of the weld nuts are now sealed in here. Can't push them out. Can't push them all the way through. And that's just so I don't lose any. I've already lost a couple, or I had already lost a couple. I think one still is in the arch here somewhere, never to be seen again. And a couple pushed through when I was just trying to do them up. The lips on them aren't very big and they're very soft, so it's very easy for them to just go right through. So I didn't really want that to happen a load, especially if someone like a wrap company's taking the panels on and off. Just saves that kind of hassle of them, say losing one or me accidentally losing one. So that's all done. So I think that's where I'm going to end this episode. Probably a bit of a boring one, but hopefully some new camera angles and so on might have made it a little bit interesting. Just going to have to move on from here, start prepping the kit, start sanding down all the panels back there. Really just getting ready to start spraying and primering, fillering and so on, getting them down to that 600 grit finish, as I say. So until then, hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, do like good YouTube stuff, and I hope to see you next time. Thank you all once again for 100 subscribers, and I hope I can keep making interesting content for you guys. Till next time, have a good one. Hope to see you then. Cheers. Bye-bye.